Spoiler alert, Jade Protocol is no longer another OHM fork. Yes, you heard me. Jade Protocol is no longer just another OHM fork. Is this even a good thing? I mean, probably CoinMarketCap or CoinGecko will go ahead and find a new category to place Jade Protocol and the likes of other copy projects that will come out after this. Maybe decentralized VC funds or something like that, with Jade Protocol, of course, leading that line right here. So Jade Protocol released an article, a Medium article about 7 hours ago, Jade's war path to a $1,000 prize floor. It's a very long article, so we're actually going to go ahead and go through most of the things in this content. Just in case you're lazy to read this article on your own, I'm going to leave the link on the description, of course, and we're going to go through this article right here, so it's going to be quite a little bit of a longer video than our normal few minutes videos on this channel. Anyways, if you're landing on this channel for the first time, endeavor to hit that subscribe button, hit like on this video, and turn on the notification bell for whenever we post any relevant educative content like this. So if you go to the landing page of jadeprotocol.io right here, you can see, if you've been following this project, I've actually done a video on this project previously, also on SmartCoin, which is the parent project that led to Jade Protocol, which is becoming the Fair Launch Foundation. So if you have been following, you notice that a couple of things have changed on this UI here on this landing page. We now have this instruction right here. We now have the Jade price, we now have the fair market value, and we now have the floor price of Jade as a token here. So here, Jade's war path to $1,000 price floor. Jade Protocol is a decentralized VC fund. So once you come on this page, this is the first thing you're going to see, and it's important that you actually pay attention and read. Literally, this is not just a product you just come in and try to dive in with some funds. It's important that you actually read and understand how the project works, which is why a lot of people have come in previously and dumped the token all the way down from where it was previously. Okay, so Jade Protocol is a decentralized VC fund. We have a community of over 150,000 people and a total treasury of over $70 million. How will we deploy this capital and leverage this community? How will investments by Jade's fund be rewarded by token holders? Find out by clicking the link here. This is a link to the same article we are going to take a look at soon. Now, here are a couple of things you need to know. Jade is 100% backed by a floor price. This is a new development right here. So this means that the price of Jade will never fall below the displayed floor price. Jade is on the path of reaching a $1,000 floor price via leveraging its vast social capital plus VC fund. Owning Jade is what gives you a seat at this VC table. So typically, this is a door open for only elites, and investments comes to fruition. As investments come to fruition, our floor price increases exponentially. Now, it says do not participate in Jade if you haven't done your research. We pride ourselves on fostering a community of smart investors. If you haven't read this article, the same article, then go do that first. Now, before we go to that article, we're going to take a look at this. Like I said, we now have the floor price, we now have the fair market value, and we now have the current market price of Jade right above there. Now, if you go to this stake feature right here, you notice that 87.73% of the entire circulating supply of Jade has already been staked, and that is really massive. But again, before this, you notice that Jade tweeted something that the emission of Jade was going to zero. Unlike OHM forks, of course, the emission is never supposed to go to zero, because the way it's supposed to work is that even eventually, if the price of the token continues to go down over time with the high APR or APY, that people are supposed to gain back a lot more of the tokens, and eventually they'll make more, they'll recover their losses. In a case of, it's just a case of a longer term hold, and eventually you're going to get profitable. And that's the way it's supposed to work. So this is why we say that Jade is no longer another OHM fork. It has completely evolved to real fucking utility, according to that Medium article right there. So why will people go ahead to stake if they reduced the APR to zero, the emission actually? I mean, like, there's no longer new emission of Jade right here. That will be accruing to users who have staked, to token owners who have staked Jade right here. Yet 87.73 of the circulating supply has been staked. Why are people staking? We're going to find out if there's any benefit for that in the article. So we'll go right straight to the article. Jade's war path to a 1,000 price floor right here. Like I said, this is a long article, and we're going to cover up a couple of things. Over 4,600 claps have been given to this article already just 7 hours ago. So it is. Wouldn't you be great? Wouldn't it be great if we knew the answer to that question? What if there was a precise dollar amount it couldn't fall below, and what if the number was publicly known? That's talking about how low Jade will go. At one point, Jade actually had the back price of the token on the home page, but it really didn't mean anything. Now, there's a proof here. The backing per OHM, if you've been following Olympus DAO protocol, the backing per OHM is $101.18 there. So what do you think happens when the price of OHM hits that price? Nothing will absolutely happen. But a lot of people don't actually know, of course. They think that there's a buyback at this backing price. A backing price is way different from a floor price. A backing price here, there's no buyback according to Olympus DAO's Gitbook right here. The screenshot was taken by Jade Protocol by this project and put up here. You can see the OHM is backed, not pegged. The price, unlike where you have stable coins, you say the price is pegged 1 versus 1 to $1. Here, OHM is backed, not pegged. Each OHM is backed by one DAI, not pegged to it. Because the treasury backs every OHM with at least one DAI, the protocol will buy back and burn OHM when it trades below one DAI. Guys, and DAI is a stable coin. So that's literally just $1. This has the effect of pushing OHM price back up to one DAI. OHM could always trade above one DAI because there is no upper limit imposed by the protocol. Think pegged, while back, of course, pegged equals 1, while back it was greater than equals 1. You might say that OHM floor price of intrinsic value of one DAI. I might say that the OHM floor price or intrinsic value is one DAI. We believe that the actual price will always be one DAI plus premium, but in the end, that is up to the market to decide. Now, what it means here is the buyback price of Olympus DAO is one DAI. That means just $1. This begs the question: why would OHM trade at 350x above the back price? Why would time trade at 3650x the backed price? The idea is that logically people will be selling it off eventually till it hits that bottom, all right? Because people falsely believe that this back price is the lowest it can go, but that's not really true. Jade Protocol actually did an experiment with this and removed the back price information from the Jade website, and the price quickly spiraled down even below it. So right here, psychologically seeing a back price on the homepage increase the odds of a token trading above it. This is the way humans think, all right? A lot of psychology comes into play here with game theory. So even though the back price doesn't actually mean anything, so people who invest in protocols like Time are going to find out a whole different type of knowledge. They're going to come to terms with the fact that this really means nothing when the information becomes common knowledge. And I'm sure right now this is going to begin to spread to the OHM community and other Olympic DAO forks and all of that, OHM forks, right? So what if there was a mechanism that the back price increased over time and actually meant that the token could not fall below it? And how would we do it with a decentralized VC fund that rewards its users without legal risk of Jade being labeled a security, thus alienating entire countries from participating? No one has figured this out until now. So Jade is introducing the rising floor, and that is what real utility looks like. So through strategic bets, a couple of strategic bets, Jade Treasury will increase in value. Now, if you take a look at the Jade Treasury on this dashboard, let's actually take a look at what it is at right now. It's about $50 million available right now. I think 20 million was taken out. We're going to see in the article exactly what it's used for because it was stated right here. So as the Jade Treasury increases in value, the back price will also increase. We're going to find out how this works exactly. The goal is a warpath to $1,000 price floor. Remember that the price floor is where it's not supposed to ever trade below again. So this will be done through Jade's decentralized VC funds. And unlike other projects, the back price will actually be maintained. Unlike these other OHM forks that we talked about previously, the back price will be maintained via buybacks through intelligent algorithmic buy bot. Full in-depth details is in the second half of this post, and we're going to get to that as well. For reference, let's take a look at some data points of successful minds here. So you see Chris Saka lowercase capital fund I is at 213x over about 3.5 years. Now lowercase capital here has returned 213x return over 3.5 years. while multi-coin capital hedge fund has soared over 20,000% in 3.5 years. A lot of these VC funds have performed very well in a short space of time. Now, Jade's $70 million treasury fund will be the starting capital of this fund. This is just the starting capital, and of course, $70 million is a whole lot of money. But of course, the Jade's treasury is supposed to grow over time, and as strategic bets are placed and come to fruition, this treasury could increase 100x plus, which in turn would increase the floor price of Jade. Now, for every time this treasury increases, of course, it would affect the floor price of Jade by orders of magnitude. The rising floor mechanism means that the floor price of Jade cannot ever go down. Over time, it can only go in one direction, up. I'm going to look below to see the full details of how this works. Now, let's look at how Jade price could suddenly go 10x, 100x, or higher. Let's see the Jade's 1000x opportunity right here, according to this article. Every VC fund has a small team of experts that are on the hunt for unicorns, of course. And normally, like in a startup world, in case you don't know what a unicorn is, it's a company that surpassed the $1 billion valuation mark, and very few companies actually do that. So these expert teams actually hunt for projects. They hunt for unicorns, right? And Jade also has its expert team, right? The fund is bottlenecked by the capability and talent of their in-house unicorn hunting team. Now, what if there was a fund that could crowdsource the hunting and filtering of unicorn investments? What if a fund wasn't limited to a small in-house team, but instead could leverage the collective brain power of over 100,000 people? Now, in other words, how are we going to reach a floor price of 1,000 or even for each Jade token? Of course, the floor price means the price of each Jade token, that it cannot ever fall below, like we've said this. So Jade, like I mentioned earlier, has its own in-house expert analyst that will hunt for these unicorn investment opportunities, both in and outside of crypto. They've stated this previously. But of course, they're also going to cheat by introducing the community, the alpha army. They're bringing in you and I, part of the community, to search for these unicorns, to do research on these unicorns and supply and submit applications of these unicorns. Now, for this, you are going to be able to win $100,000. You're going to be awarded $100,000, right, for community members that find, research, and present opportunities to Jade that result in a treasury investment. So you can actually click on this link right here to submit your proposal if you find any. A team of world-class fund managers will go through submissions daily and filter the highest quality briefs. On the part 2 of the roadmap, they will talk about the critical hires they've made to manage the fund. Now, here's what the three-phase process will look like. The community, which is the Alpha Army, will submit thousands of proposals for investment opportunities, both in and out of crypto. The team will go through every single one of them and filter, and the top crowdsourced proposals will be presented to the community as a vote, while the winning proposal will receive an investment from Jade, while the person who also created the proposal will be rewarded with $100,000. So how about that for winning $100,000? Welcome to the Hive Mind VC fund. I mean, I find it very fascinating that Jade Protocol involves the community and actually makes them really involved in what they're investing in. I mean, if you are not paying attention to the Medium articles like this, the Twitter handles, it's hard for you to play along a project like this. It started as the Squid Game of crypto with Smartcoin. So it actually encourages the participants to pay real attention to the product and the project they are investing in. Right? Unlike a lot of crypto users who are usually on the fast lane looking for the next 100x in 5 days. So incentive alignment is a very beautiful thing. So discovering 1000x returns requires legal work. It's like finding a needle in the haystack, and all that filtering will be done. Now, why would the new project want to give the Jade community a pre-sale allocation of their token? Literally all new projects want two things: money and users. The money is the initial capital they get from these VC funds to fund the team and establish the project, while the user are human beings who actually use the protocol. Of course, you know that any project without users, any product without users, it doesn't really make any sense, right? So there's no VC fund currently that can provide both of these things, but centralized VCs fund, what they do is just to provide the money, but Jade has both the money and the community right now. They're the only VC fund in the world that can say that. And if you look at this thing, tons of projects are going to want the 70 million plus treasury fund of Jade, with a existing community of over 150,000 members. Also, because of the above, our treasury will get preferential economics plus allocations from projects that they invest in, because the potential for a project to 100 or 1000x is significantly higher once it's exposed to the massive community that will act as evangelists. Trust me, there is nothing bigger than the community acting as evangelists for your project or product. Now, as a result of investments mooning, Jade's back price can increase exponentially due to the rising floor that we've previously talked about up there. Now, I have to repeat this because it's so important. There's never been a fund with a user base. We have over 150,000 people that can be mobilized to as the initial evangelist of a project. Now, if you look at this, this is why would a project pick a centralized VC fund like A16Z? A16Z is quite popular VC fund out there in crypto, and for an allocation when they could just give it to Jade and also bootstrap a massive community at the same time. Okay, so holding Jade is what gives you a seat at this VC table. All you just need to do is actually hold Jade, right? When the other part of a roadmap comes, you actually see exactly why you need to hold Jade and how it's going to actually benefit you as a Jade holder right here. So the world-class VC fund managers will deploy intelligent management strategies. This profits will be put into the back-end treasury, thus dramatically increasing the floor price. We believe that Jade will trade well above the BAT price because explosive growth can be timed. Imagine selling Jade, going to sleep and waking up to a Jade price that has doubled or tripled because one of the treasury investments exploded in value overnight. Just look at Axie Infinity, guys. Axie Infinity exploded in just one night, overnight, and this is what can happen when Jade invests in a project like Axie Infinity and makes that kind of money and put it back into treasury funds and actually deployed them. So if Jade invested $500,000 alone into Axie Infinity during its pre-launch, and then the $500,000 would have turned over $750 million today, a multiple of over 1,000x. So that would result in a floor price of Jade blasting through $1,000 profits. $1,000 as profits are added to the backing treasury, guys, and that is just for one bet, because this project, Jade Protocol, will be investing in a lot of projects both in and outside of crypto. So when we're talking about multiples of Axies here, multiples of Axie Infinities, multiples of returns that are going to be coming back to back. So this is a kind of parabolic growth from one of Jade's bets that cannot be charted, right? Which is why markets tend to price in potential long before one of these bets play out. So like I said, all you need to do is to be holding Jade to be a participant of this. Now, the value of Jade equals to the cumulative potential of all of Jade's ongoing investments plus the value of the treasury. Now, I really don't need to do any fundamental price analysis on Jade because it's impossible because of the unknown component of these unicorn investments. So all available treasury. Something else we need to pay attention. I think I'm trying to skip that here. Shouldn't at all. We will be able to deploy 100% of treasury immediately? Of course not. This is why capital that is sitting idle will be yield farm. And more info on this will be explained in the part 2 of the roadmap, which is coming out in about a week, I think, from the tweet there. Also, the yield farming of idle assets will begin within 72 hours. Jade Protocol will also be yield farming idle assets. It's not just going to keep money in the treasury there. We'll be employing a lot of strategies and experts to yield farm and grow the funds and put it back in the treasury, use it to increase the backing price of Jade. All right. So that's a lot of things that will be happening. All available treasury funds will be used in some way to accrue value to increase the backing treasury, thus increasing the floor price of Jade. Now, monthly fund reports here. On the 1st of each month, starting from February 1st in 2022, Jade will publish a detailed report that recaps Jade's VC fund progress thus far and also what's on the horizon for the coming months. They'll be calling this the $1,000 war path. So a quick recap on all we've talked about here. How Jade plans to reach a floor price of at least $1,000 per Jade. The venture capital arm that filters through 1,000x plus opportunities on a daily basis. The community voting on which vetted projects to invest in through the Alpha Army and in-house analysts. And getting preferential pre-sale economics. A 500k investment has the potential to turn into $750 million plus. The launch of their own trading desk. alpha hunting staff that uses big data analysis to vet investment opportunities. Yield farming with idle capital, aggressively curbing the circulating supply of jade. We'll actually find out more information on this below. So this is really exciting, and the team is actually very excited about this. Everything above is high-level explanation of the roadmap, everything we've talked about above. So let's take a look at deep dive into the strategy of reaching a floor price of $1,000 per jade via this rising floor. Let's take a look at a detailed explanation of the rising floor and how this rising floor mechanism will create an up-only floor price of jade. It says first we need to understand the difference between a backing and a floor price. If you look at this image here, backing per time is 1,000, you know the token time of course, $1,658 here. So like this article mentioned earlier, the backing does not mean anything. It doesn't mean that there is a buyback. There's nothing happening with the backing, alright? There's no buyback mechanism that gets triggered, so there's no guarantee that the price won't go below the backing price. And on the other hand, the floor price at Jade Protocol is a guarantee that if the token drops below the floor, a buyback is initiated to defend that price. I don't know if you actually got this. The token value of Jade, if the token value of Jade dips below the floor price, a buyback is initiated to defend that price. And in order to make this guarantee, a portion of the treasury needs to be set aside for buybacks to defend this floor price. So this means that Jade will have two separate treasuries. One is the investment treasury and the backing. The second is the backing treasury. Now the backing treasury is just like a savings account, while the investment treasury will be the investment account. The job of this backing treasury is to defend the floor price of Jade through algorithmic trading bot that was developed by the team. Bybot, right? Bybot is a hyper-intelligent trading bot that they've quietly tested for months, and they've actually run the bot for about 72,000 transactions, and it works flawlessly according to the team. So the buybot will automatically trigger if Jade ever falls below the floor price. So any floor price you see on the protocol right now on the UI, so you're going to see that, that's when the buybot will be triggered. So how do they determine this floor price? Backing treasury divided by the total supply equals the floor price. Let's run through a hypothetical example. If Jade devotes $20 million of treasury to back 1 million tokens and price attempts to dip below $20, the algorithmic buybot absorbs all selling below $20, then burns all newly purchased tokens. This is very important. The fact that they are burning all the newly purchased tokens actually takes away the supply of Jade, reduces the supply of Jade, and even leads to a lot more scarcity, considering that there will be no longer any further emission of a token. The floor price equals successfully defended. The more money in the backing treasury, the higher the floor price of Jade, hence the rising floor. You need to read this article carefully, even in case we go over this and then you don't understand some things. You have to actually take your time to read line after the other every single thing on this article. The floor price of Jade can go up only for three reasons. The first reason here is that the money can only be added to the backing treasury. Money can only be added to the backing treasury and can only be removed in the event of a buyback to defend the floor price. If the buybot is triggered, all purchased Jade will be immediately burned, thus removing it from the circulating supply permanently. This burn mechanism will offset the fact that the backing treasury goes down in value during a buyback. See the floor price equation above. The backing treasury will only hold stable coins, thus preventing price fluctuations associated with non-stable coins. So you have to know that the treasury that is backing this buybacks will always be in stable coins. So there won't be any fluctuation of in case any price, any token goes down or whatever. So because of the three rules, the rising floor price can only go in one direction over time, which is up. If a user happens to be lucky enough to buy Jade near the floor price, it's a no-brainer to take advantage since the future floor price is guaranteed to be higher. Now note this, for the first week of January, Jade will be adding funds to the backing treasury at random intervals, pushing up the floor price consistently for 7 straight days. This means that no one knows the floor price, what the floor price will be actually on January 7th once the total initial floor amount has been deployed. Use this information wisely. Do whatever you want to do with this information. Over time, profits from Jade's VC fund investments, yield farming, trading desk, and bonding will be deposited into the backing treasury, growing it. And every time this happens, the floor price of Jade increases. Read this again. All right. Let's refer back to the earlier example of Axie. If Jade had made the investment into Axie and deposited $150 million of profits into the backing treasury, that would have increased the floor price of Jade by 7.5x overnight. $300 million of profits deposited would result in a 15x, and so on. Now imagine what would happen if several of the VC fund bets start paying off back to back. This is crypto. You need to understand that it's easier for this bet to actually pay off and as treasury funds to actually pay off and make profit and plow it back into the system. Plus, yield farming profits and bonding assets consistently deposited into the backing treasury. So they've established a rising floor, but why will Jade trade significantly higher? Now, if you look at this UI again, you're going to see that we previously talked about a fair market value here that previously wasn't here, which is right about just 5x of the initial current market price. So let's talk about the fair market value here. There will be two unique prices displayed on Jade Protocol, either the floor price, the rising floor price that buy-bot defends, as discussed above, and the fair market value, which is a pseudo floor price that considers the fact that staked Jade is at the moment off the market. Now remember that OHM and time trade at 350x and 1650x, they are true back prices. So what is Jade's fair market value? Jade expects the fair market value to be conservatively 5 times higher than the floor price. And this is how they actually came up with the multiple, by dividing the total treasury value by the unstaked circulating supply. Total treasury value divided by the unstaked circulating supply. Now if you look at the formula, really look at the formula, because this is very important to understand. Notice that fair market value is calculated based on the supply of unstaked Jade, because Jade effectively staking Jade actually effectively removes it from the tradable circulating supply. So through game theory mechanics, we're incentivizing our entire community to remove as much of the Jade supply from the market as possible by staking them. All right, the incentive to stake is very high because of one key metric. Every time someone stakes Jade, thus increasing the percentage of staked Jade, the fair market value goes up. Now, because remember, fair market value is calculated by taking the total treasury and dividing it by the unstaked supply. In turn, the Jade's price will also go up simply by community-driven effort of staking. This is just to tell you that staking is good for the price and unstaking is bad for price. The fair market value will always be higher than the floor price. How much higher it goes depends on the community's staking rate. The meta game of staking. If APY is set at 0, then why stake? Remember, we talked about this when we started this, since we talked about the staking being at 0 APR at this point, the APY actually. If it's at 0, why stake? To boost fair market value. Because every Jade stake is a vote of confidence that increases the price while also removing Jade from tradable supply. So they're trying to squeeze the market joy of every sellable Jade. And for governance, only Jade holders can directly vote on Jade's VC investment decision. So if you are not staking Jade, you cannot receive Jade, and only those who own Jade can directly vote on the VC investment decision, since it's a DAO, of course. Preferential bonding events. Unlike the previous bonding events that we had, now bonding increases the circulating. There will be preferential bonding events right now. So bonding increases the circulating supply of Jade, because every time a bond is initiated, the protocol mints a new Jade token, thereby increasing the supply. And this increasing supply has a direct impact on the price floor. So in simple terms, bonding at a net price that is lower than the price floor equals a declining floor, which is not good for the protocol. Therefore, bonding will only be available when the price of Jade is significantly higher than the price floor. The exact figures will not be revealed publicly to avoid users gaming the system. Of course, there will always be users who are trying to game the system. And when bonding is enabled, it will only be up for an unspecified short period of time, which will be disabled without warning. This is to avoid people gaming the system. So you have to keep an eye. If you want to participate in the preferential bonding, you have to keep an eye on Jade Protocol.io and enable Twitter notifications so you don't miss out when an event as such is taking place. So now that you understand all the new mechanisms and what is happening Here is actually what's happening next. So the total circulating supply has dropped significantly. According to this article, yesterday it was hovering above 2 million jade, $2 million in jade, 2 million jade actually. And today is about 1.1 million jade tokens, so nearly 50% in reduction. Of course, this means that jade is becoming more scarce. So emissions have completely been terminated. Supply can only increase through this bonding that we explained just a few minutes ago, and the bonding will happen rarely. The backing treasury has been loaded up with 16 million BUSD, which is why we have about $50 million right now on that dashboard on the treasury that we previously saw. So 20 million has been 16 million actually in BUSD has been loaded into the backing treasury, creating a floor price of $15. Welcome to up only mode. Remember, for the first week of January we will be adding funds to the backing treasury at random intervals, pushing up the floor price consistently for 7 days straight. What will the floor price be on January 7th? We're only going to find out after this event happens. So the projects have allocated a majority of the main treasury for capital deployments through yield farming, trading, and VC investments, the profits of which will be added to the backing treasury, pushing up the floor price. So this is it. Jade's real fucking utility, right? So a wild ride up until this point has just been bootstrapping the phase. A rabid community and a $70 million plus treasury were built by a team without any utility. So what exactly is going to happen now that there is utility? So we're going to actually find out what is going to happen. And this team has actually been executing a lot of their ideas outlined in this post. Here's a teaser of what has been happening behind the scenes. Jade has received over 300 applications from projects that want Jade to invest in them. Guys, without any form, they've received over 300 applications, and this happened before they had an official application process. All applications are being reviewed by in-house expert analysis, and our in-house analysis team will receive their own introduction in an upcoming update. Last week, we onboarded a genius level DeFi expert and one of the most profitable yield farmers in the world. Yes, that's now an occupation, just in case you didn't know. More details on this higher in the part 2 of the roadmap, but capital will start being farmed within the next few days. Our hiring spree is in full effect. We've expanded our Web3 dev team and are placing a few more as we speak. Strapping folks, because 2022 will go down as the year Jade changed the game. Now the part 2 of this roadmap will be coming next week. For those that want a quick recap, I created a table of content and TLDR somewhere below. There's definitely no TLDR here. Einstein says if you want a TLDR, find a different project. I previously mentioned that you actually have to be paying attention, very close attention, if you want to follow up this project. I really feel it's a very rare project. This is one of the smartest team I've seen in crypto. It's one of the biggest brains I've actually seen in crypto out there, both from their marketing and the ideas. The genius there is just out of this world, and we can see it right here from the kind of content and the ideas that they are spitting every single time. And they're giving away 15,000 BUSD, a giveaway here for this roadmap here. So all you have to do is to take the quiz below, receive 100% score to throw in your heart into the ring. So the top 5 most impressive and well thought out quiz submissions will split 15,000 BUSD, while the winners will be announced on January 2nd at 3:33 p.m. PST. So guys, that's it for this protocol. Just go ahead and participate in this. A sneak peek at the part 2 of the roadmap coming out in 2 weeks. Total redesign of the Jade Protocol.io. A lot of things will be changed on the UI here of Jade Protocol.io. I've hired some absolute good UI UX chiefs right there. The Avalanche launch timeline. Jade will be cross-chain. Avalanche is the first step towards that, and they'll present a timeline for when this will happen and details of the multi-chain bridge. The smarter swap details that a lot of OGs on diamond hands and double diamond hands have been waiting for. They figured out a solution that solves the dilution problem of Jade, and the details will come up in the next post. A detailed report of the latest epic hires. We've poached some of the top players from the world's most successful VC funds, and I've hired talented Web3 developers to help them move faster. So guys, this is it for this super cool project. Of course, nothing is financial advice. This is up for you to read this article, follow Jade Protocol, learn about the project, and see if this is worth it for you. But personally, I am vested in this project, and I really think it's going to turn out great in 2022, looking at all the roadmap they have and what they're bringing for the crypto ecosystem in general. Anyways, like I said, if you are stumbling on this channel for the first time in everybody, hit like on this video, hit follow on that subscribe button right there, hit that subscribe button right there, and turn on the notification bell so you get notified whenever we post any relevant content like this. Every link that you require, especially this Medium link, will be in the description of this video. Cheers, and see you in the next update. Bye.